taught you how to feel good? We're going to talk about it on today's podcast.
I've spent the last 20 years studying, teaching, and coaching people to find their greatness and take their lives to the next level. Along the way, it's become evident that emotions are at the root of everybody's successes and failures. Worry and fear are the enemies, and it's time to forge the armor and earn the tools to overcome the two things that could single-handedly destroy your future. Hi, my name is Michael Johnson, and I'm a life coach, a peak performance trainer, and I'm the emotions guy. It's time to take back control of how you feel, control of how you act, and control of how you experience life. It's time to become a lifer, a new breed of overachiever focused on living every minute to its fullest. We are responsible for how we feel, and no one and no thing can make us feel anything. Emotional mastery is our journey, and emotional education and intelligence is the key. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life.
What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast. I'm excited you joined me today because we're going to talk about who taught you how to feel good. Now, that's an interesting question, right? Because we look back at our history, and that's not something we typically talk about. But it is super important in regards to where did we get that education from? Did we get it from our teachers? Well, they taught us how to do math and science. They taught us how to look back at our history and learn from our mistakes. But where did we learn to feel good? Where did we learn to get control of what's going on inside and make it work outwardly? Well, it started back with our parents, and maybe our grandparents and maybe their parents before them, and they demonstrated to us through their actions and what they were up to how to feel good. Now, we're making this super simple, right? We're talking about this from a very maybe simplistic way. And one of the best ways to understand how we work is to have a childlike approach, not a childish approach. And there is a difference. You can go check that out, right? But a childlike approach. And this childlike approach would be to look at some of our children and see how they interact with the world and how they operate. They interact and they take on what they observe. They show their emotions quickly and they move right along. And in most instances, we considered that to be childish, but maybe there's some benefit, maybe there's some gain to this idea that they feel their emotions, they get over it, and they move right along. And then over time, we teach them to hold a grudge. We teach them to be jaded about experiences. We teach them that through our actions that it's not okay to cry, or it's not okay to be sad, or that it is okay to smile, or it is okay to whatever it is, right? So we're talking about these emotional states, and this ability to feel good now is determined by what's going on around us. And so in many instances, we've been taught how to feel good by observing what's going on around us. And that observation is what we call reality or truth. Well, if I can see it, it's true. Except for what we forget to take into account is when I see something, I'm only seeing it from a perspective, from one version of what it is. And we do this all the time. If you were to take three people, put them on three sides of the room and show them the same thing, they would all walk away and describe what happened with that thing completely different. Now, there would be things that were similar that would come into play, but most of them now saw it only from their one limited perspective, and therefore it is not accurate. Now, that's interesting because in some instances, we have recognized, if you jump into some of those cool videos about quantum theory, that a particle exists, and maybe even smaller, when you look at it. But it doesn't when you don't. And this is really confusing. Now, we're not going to get into quantum theory here because I don't understand it very well. So for those of you that do get it, if I just butchered it, I am sorry. I apologize. But the general idea here is that our observation matters. So when we see something and we give it meaning, then all of a sudden the meaning to us is what allows and gives us the ability to feel. Now, what if we were to observe inside, decide what meaning we wanted, gave it the feeling and felt that way? That's a big what if. What if you could feel the way you wanted to feel right now? What would you choose? What feeling would you choose? What feeling are you choosing? Are you choosing to feel sad? Is someone in your life soon to pass away? Well, is somebody left you? Has something gone wrong? And you assigned a meaning to it that now you have to deal with. You are saying, well, I feel this way and there's nothing I can do about it. Is that true? Can you assign some new meaning to it? Now, for those of you that have listened to the podcast, I did an episode about when the crap hits the basement, right? So go back and listen to that one. But you can assign different meaning to different things that are going on. In fact, many do. And most of our inspirational stories that we like to listen to are about others who have assigned a meaning that seemingly wasn't viable for that thing, for that situation. We look at it and we think to ourselves as we look at it, gosh, you should have assigned a different meaning to that. If it were me, I would have assigned a different meaning to that. In fact, you should assign a different meaning to it. And they go, no, 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 no. I've decided I'm going to assign this meaning to it, and I am going to feel the way I want to feel. This is huge. There are incredible circumstances that our human race has overcome and learned to live with. There are incredible circumstances in so many situations where we have learned to adapt to our scenario because somebody was willing to look at it and say to themselves, I'm going to give this a different meaning. And therefore, I am going to feel the way I want to feel. So I ask you again, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel right now? How do you want to feel tomorrow? How do you want to feel tonight? How do you want to feel in a month? Does it always have to feel like you're at Disneyland and everything's woohoo? Or can it feel another way? And what are the other ways? How would you like to feel? You see, it's time. It's time to feel good. It's time to feel good on purpose. And there's nothing wrong with it. I know it's a big sacrifice. I know what I'm asking you to do is to feel good on purpose, maybe even on demand. Well, goodness sakes, can you do that? Are you allowed to feel good just because? The answer is yes. Guys, we've got some really amazing things coming, and this is one of the first of many to come, but we have some amazing things coming down the line. I am so excited to tell you all about them. You guys should be excited too. We have a cool opportunity for you coming up in the months ahead. I'm not going to tell you about it yet, but I'm excited for it. You guys should be excited for it. This will change your life forever. And I am excited to share the work that my team and I are doing to prepare this for you. And I'm excited to tell you all about it. So that'll come in the coming days. I am so thankful you're here. I'm thankful to have you as an audience. Make sure you leave us a review on iTunes. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube or any other platform, please leave us a review. We love it so much when we get to hear from you and hear about what you love about the podcast. So let us know. And until next time, we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Hey, lifers. We expect upgrades to the base operating functions of the things like our phones, cars, and even refrigerators. Why then has it not been made a priority that we upgrade the operating systems of our emotional states? We dance around the subject of emotional mastery from a young age. We have so much more knowledge in today's world, yet we're still teaching outdated methods of emotional education, if any are being taught at all. It's time for a change. It's time for an upgrade to our emotional education. Let me help you learn how to do that. Pick up your free copy of Every Minute at everyminutebook.com.